strangers in a changing season. We cool together and it all feels good. You know we wouldn't trade a thing, and I think I know the reason. The moment comes to passing, the meaning's understood. It's all love and laughter. We're growing older together. We're gonna find our way. We're finding joy and magic in our lives as we get older. This is our life in the middle. Life in the middle. Life in the middle.
Welcome back to Life in the Middle. I'm Travis,
And I'm Jenna.
and it's Valentine's Day weekend as we're recording this, so I hope everybody got to spend time with their loved ones and go out and maybe have a nice meal, or even maybe they stayed home and had a nice meal together.
Just spend time together.
Yeah. It was a good weekend for that. So I think this week we wanted to touch on overpacked schedules that we tend to lend ourselves to, wanting to do everything and not having the time to. So this week we're going to talk about how we've kind of come to the grips of maybe saying no is not a bad thing.
Yes.
So learning to say no and maybe spending a little time for yourself instead of for everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of touched on with the kids too. Is no is a full sentence. It's hard to say no sometimes. It's like you want to do everything for everybody. It's really hard to say no sometimes to certain things. But you can't just overrun yourself to the point of just exhaustion and not being able to keep up with,
For sure.
life. So, saying no is a necessity, and we're getting a little bit better at saying no. I know I am. It's been a struggle for the last few years, but I finally have just decided, there's sometimes I just got to say it. I just got to say no.
Yeah, I mean, saying yes to stuff when people ask you to help do this or help do that or can we do this, feels like the normal answer, right? Like you want to say yes to everything because you want to help people, you want to be part of things,
Mm-hmm.
you want to be, uh, someone people can rely on. So, um, life, especially with as our kids get older, as we get older, it seems to get a lot fuller. So there's always more demand on what people want you to do or you want to do. And there's nothing wrong with saying no to be able to keep a little bit of your own peace. I know there's been many a times where we looked at the schedule and we're like, well, this Saturday we have this, next Saturday we have that, the Saturday after that we have that. The next Saturday we will have where we actually don't have to do anything is in a month and a half. So, not that, I mean, we put ourselves in that position and all those things we want to do.
Well, I think we just, now we've gotten to the point where we are more careful. Even if our schedule looks like that, it is, it's us talking about it, not just, oh, we need to do this. It's more of a, where does that leave us personally?
Yeah.
Like, we'll give an example. Yesterday, I got a text message during work. I've changed jobs, and I used to work 3/12s. Now I work 5/8 at the hospital, and I got a text message that the floor was short and they needed help, and they needed another nurse. They had somebody call out or something, and usually comes with some kind of incentive or overtime. It'd be overtime pay for me. And I called you and I was like, thinking about it, like that's overtime pay. It could be, nice for us to put towards vacation or towards this. But, then we have to talk it out. Like, hey, you've worked 40 hours a week. We've got this, and this going on this weekend. And you would be stressed or working, or you would have to miss out. We had a ladies' breakfast this morning for our women's ministry at church. And I really wanted to go. I hadn't been able to go to the last two things. And I really wanted to go. But then I was like, well, maybe I could work half a day and help them out. And we talked it out. It was like, hey, you're going to be pushing yourself to, you're missing something you really looked forward to this week. You're going to be rushing to get to the next activity that we have planned for the day. And then Sunday we have, we get to go to church, and then we usually eat at my parents'. You're the only time you're going to get to sit is going to be late Sunday afternoon. And then you go right back into 40 hours of work this week. And do you really want to take that away from yourself for just, a little, some extra money. And so we really talked about it. So, and I had to say no. And used to, anytime work called, I was usually like, yeah, I'm coming, or yeah, I can give you this many hours and you're going to have to find somebody else for the extra. Something like that. It's very hard to say no. So that's, a good example of how, sometimes you just have to do it for your own mental health, for your well-being, and for us to have time together. Like we did our Valentine's Day last night, Friday night, and I was going to have to cut that evening short, and then make sure that I was ready for the next day, and then that kind of thing. And so you just really have to sit down and go, hey, your mental health is important too. Time with your family and stuff. You have to have a good balance. So don't extend yourself. So that's a good example of that. Us me having to say no in a time that I usually wouldn't. So.
Yeah, for sure. It can be healthy to say no to things, and a lot of this talk we're going to be talking about like activities that people want us to help or go to or whatever. It can be healthy to say no because you become the person they rely on, and then anytime they have an idea or an event, they're asking you to help. And saying no might be healthy for them to be able to figure out other people as well, so they're not relying on you.
And eventually we might not be capable, able, or in the time of life that we could, and then having other people step up in those situations, like, hey, now I know a group of people that I can call, and even though, then you get a group of people, then it's like, hey, how about this group of people help, and then it's not as stressful on everybody. Right. So it's good to step back sometimes and say no.
Yeah, I think the main thing about it is you start reclaiming your time and energy, right? So when you're going and helping and doing all these things every day, or you're giving people extra time that you would have kept to yourself, you're reclaiming that, you're bringing that back in, and you're able to use that for yourself. And self-care, mental health, all that stuff is very important, and having time to sit and just relax, and you don't have to worry about going here, going there, is a big part of your mental health, right? So you're able to sit down and watch TV. You're able to watch the basketball game that you wanted to watch, or whatever the case may be. You reclaim that for yourself, and I think that's a big. Yeah. We were always overpacking our schedule as in our younger selves. When we first got married, it felt like, especially Kingston didn't live with us, so when the weekends he was there, it felt like we needed to be doing something. We needed to show him a good time. We needed to go to Chuck E. Cheese. We needed to go here, do this.
Well, it also was one of those situations too, when he's there and he's only there for 3 days. Like, if family wants to see him, so we're we got to make sure family has time to see him. And when those situations, it's a really hard thing to do. So yeah, I feel like when they were younger, we were running just pretty much all the time.
Yeah, and we've learned as we got older that and the kids got older too, that we don't have to feel guilty about not doing what everybody else wants, right? So I think we feel this a lot during the holiday season, because we do have so many different people pulling different directions. It's when you decide, when you're doing what you're doing, if we can be there, we'll be there, and we're going to go to the people who have made the plans the earliest. And
usually, if you make a plan the earliest, you're going to definitely get us here there, because we'll be. I have no problem scheduling around anyone.
I don't either.
It's just I have to know the schedule, and then once someone's claimed it, it's kind of theirs. They kind of give me those. So you have to say no, and then you kind of feel guilty, but then you realize that people don't hold it against you as much as you think that they do. Yeah. In your head, when you're you want to say no, but you can't. So I guess in your head, you're just kind of thinking, oh, they're going to be so disappointed in me. They're going to be upset with me, and they're not. Like, people understand where you're coming from. So saying no, part of it's being scary because you feel like you're disappointing someone, but for the other part, they're not disappointed in you, So.
Part of it too is that we have to schedule stuff for ourselves. So we we got to schedule time to just say do this podcast.
Yeah.
We got to schedule time for me and you to be intentional about still dating each other, even though we're been married for 16 years.
Yeah.
Or we've been together for 16 years. Sorry, we've been married for 12.
It's okay. I know.
So, you know, we had a conversation and we wanted to be intentional about dating each other and staying in that zone, so we don't feel like we're roommates and we're still a married couple, right? So we have to take that time and schedule that stuff for ourselves. So that's most important to me, and I assume it's most important to you. So we have to say no. Like, for instance, we decided that we wanted to go out and start dating more often. So we picked Friday nights so we can go eat. Well, that meant me saying no to a men's group that I was going to on Friday nights. Not that it's a great men's group and I want to be there every Friday night, but for me, it is more, it's more important. Important's a hard word to say. It's better for me to make sure I have time for you mentally than it is to go there, because I get the same stuff I get there in other places. So in order to have that day night for you, I gave that up because I'm going to be able to get that spiritual balance when I go to church on Sunday, when we go on Wednesday with my morning devotional by myself. I have a lot of different avenues to hit those marks, and I don't have as much time to take you out on a dinner date that
when
I
I
want to.
changed jobs, it became a little bit different because we used to, I mean, if I worked 3 days a week and, sometimes that was a Saturday, Sunday, and then I'd working into like Friday night, you know what I mean? And or Thursday night or something like that. So we like Monday, Tuesday, like he would work here at home and then he would come down and we would have lunch dates because we'd go, on his lunch break between meetings and stuff and go out to eat and stuff. And that was really easy because the kids were gone and it was a time where we could be together and talk and everything else. But once I started working and having the same schedule as him, our home time is at the exact same time, but our kids are here with us. And then, there's no time for just us. Right. So, we had to be intentional with, what we're saying yes to, what we're saying no to, and making sure that it's fulfilling and it's putting the energy into places that it needs to be. I think we talk a lot about sometimes me and you about if you're doing stuff and it's emptying your cup, you have to make sure you're filling your cup somewhere. 100%. Right? So like you have to feel fulfilled as well. So when it comes to like church activities, for the last few years we've been in charge of our young family and young adult college age kids, both of those programs. And that was, trying to start a program really because there wasn't a huge thing for the college kids. But trying to figure out where that would last and what we needed to do and those kinds of stuff. We're still not exactly where we want to be, but I think this last year, Kingston was a senior, and we went to the ministers. We had this meeting that's, what we wanted to do and that kind of stuff. And we wanted to keep most of the things, but we just kind of decided with the young family on the smaller scale, regular basis, that was really hard for us to do. Because we don't have small kids. We don't know what to do with the young family because we're not a young family anymore. We have, a college freshman and a high school freshman. So when it comes to their scheduling and what they have going and what they want, it's really hard. So we gave that over to somebody who does have a young family and who is amazing at planning stuff and loves doing that kind of stuff. And we just stayed on and did like the big events. Right. Like, hey, we do a breakfast with Santa every year, and people seem to love it for the community, and so we will continue to do that. And then we do a VBS, Vacation Bible School, and then 4th of July kind of combined thing. So we did that. And then we're doing a summer kickoff this year right after school ends for the kids for the summer, and then that they can pass out all the information for Vacation Bible School and all the things we got. Stuff like that. So we've decided to step back from like smaller roles because that was like a continuous, like, what are we going to do this month? What are we going to do next month? That kind of stuff. So we've just kind of taken on the big projects, big event kind of things for us, which is having to say no. And everybody completely understood, but you feel like you were letting people down. That's why. But we've learned to do those things for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely been better for us because when we stepped back, it became overwhelming. Right, it felt like we had so many things going on, and every week there was something different that we were trying to plan, and you got to keep 7 irons in the fire because you're trying to plan in advance. You can't. So by handing some of that stuff off, it gave us some more relief, and I think that was the thing. It's not that we didn't want to help those people out, and we will gladly help when we can. It took the burden off our backs for sure. And Erica, who took over some of that stuff, has been a blessing and to help us.
Amazing.
She's good at it. She's got a young family. That's been great. So, I think a lot of the running and going that we would do a lot would be just because we wanted to have this perfect family outlook. We wanted people to kind of look and see, oh, look, they're doing this and their boys are involved and we were doing all this stuff. And I think early on we were doing all those things because we wanted to live up to that standard. Does that make sense?
I think there was a standard there, but also, like, I think I kind of looked at those situations as, like, what are they, like, rose-colored goggles? Is that what that is? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
But, like, I remember my parents doing so much with the youth group as a kid. They were at everything, I felt like, and we had such a good childhood because of it.
Yeah.
And so I think with rose-colored goggles, I was like, oh, we've got to do all those things because my parents were so great at it, and we had such a great childhood because of it, and it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, and
it's a lot. And
I mean, I love
honestly, my mom she didn't have a job. Like,
right.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom, so that helped tremendously. Not that my mom didn't do anything by any
100%.
means. My mom was, Lord help, take care of 3 kids, and we were all crazy. But I wanted to give our kids the childhood I got, but there's different circumstances behind all of it. So I finally grasped this concept of that, like, I can give my kids a great childhood. It doesn't have to be the same. I don't have to be everywhere and do everything like my mom did, because I do have to be at my job and doing those kinds of things as well. So picking and choosing. I think a couple of years ago I got really close with the girls in our youth group, and I promised them that I would be active and I would be right there next to them for all the, big things that we do at church until they graduated. I was really close. This year, my last 2, Addison and Lily, they'll be graduating in May. And so this year I've told them, like, I love you, but if I want to do this, and this, I can't. I gotta have vacation days. I can't use all my vacation days for camp because I want to take the college kids on their whitewater rafting trip, and I'm gonna be with you on that. Like, that's gonna be our next thing together. And they were understanding. They were like, last year I thought about not going to camp, and they were like, oh, very upset. So I'm going to camp this year, but in a different kind of thing. I'm going to be going and over the nights and seeing them. I might take a day off and see all the activities that day or whatever, but not staying the full. Usually would take off, that whole week of camp and then like the Friday before. So I'd take off several days just to go to camp. I'm not doing that this year. I think it was a lot of people chaperoning for the Challenge Youth Conference that's coming up at church. Yeah. They did not need me. I mean, we really weren't even needed last year. Remember that?
Right.
Like, we got up there and like really like had enough adults that everybody had chaperones and stuff, and we ended up in a room just me and you.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I kind of feel guilty, not having chaperone. But then
sure.
Then you're dividing the kids up like 2 at a time, and they want to be together. So it's one of those things. Also, the transition into parents who are coming up into the youth group. their kids start in the youth group and want to be, and so sometimes it's a good thing. Like, hey, pass that thing off, and let those people be involved and get the love from these kids because I mean they're amazing. The relationships you can get with the youth group at church is just I mean, it's like no other.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 2 sons. And I gained several daughters in the youth group.
And some sons.
And some sons. And some sons for sure. But, I didn't, besides, our nieces, I had those. But, like having a bunch of girls that would come up and seek me out, know that I'm there for them, it is fulfilling in a way that I never, ever thought it would be. And then stepping back, I didn't lose any of those relationships. They got to also find other women in our church that they can go to too. So that's always a great thing.
Yeah, and one of the things I have on my notes here is letting good enough be enough, and that's kind of that thing is that they, especially like CYC, they have enough chaperones. We don't have to be part of it.
Oh.
And
we are type A's. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like we are like planning it down to we're giving the kids the menu and picking ahead of time, and they've like taken that too. They're like, that was a great idea. Let's do that. But we don't have it. Don't have to be planned to the last. But that's us. If we're a part of it, we want all the details. But others aren't like that. So like them having like, oh, we might do this, we might do that. That's fine. But for us, we were like, we want to know. We want the kids to know exactly what we're doing. We want to know exactly what we're doing. So if they don't need us to micromanage, then they're all like plenty capable. They did great.
And that letting good enough be enough is something that we still struggle with. Yes. So like even the events we do plan or we do, it is hard for us to let it just be what it is. Sometimes we want it to be perfect, and that's not always the case. Usually it's not the case. But because we are the way we are, we want it to be perfect, and just letting it be good enough that's probably a lesson we still need to learn even now.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Little details that go awry are really hard for me to not focus on in the end of it. I think our first Amazing Race, somehow, I have no clue how I did it to this day because the way I stuffed those envelopes. But like, if you ever seen the Amazing Race, we do one of these in our county for our church group, and they have such a great time. I wish I could run it because it looks like a lot of fun. We have a great time putting it on. I mixed up some of the clues.
Yeah,
and so
somehow.
How? 2 clues, and thank goodness it was the last clue and the clue before it. And so some people came straight to the finish line and passed. Everybody was in the lead. And then somehow other teams didn't. And it was the strangest thing. But I still, it all worked out. Ended up, we had a first, second, and third twice. Like we were like, we're gonna do first, second, and third.
And we had enough medals somehow.
And first, second, and third that actually got the last clue.
Yeah.
And it was exactly the right amount of medals. And no one cared. Everybody had such a great time. No one cared, right? And but I still think about it. Like, and no one probably even thinks about it or remembers it because it was 2 years ago. But I still think about it but good enough is enough. It was so much fun. Everybody still talks about it. It's one of their favorite things to do each year. So.
Yeah, and I think we talked about comparisons, especially when we were first married. We wanted to have all these different activities for our kids and comparing ourselves to the people down the road that maybe had the same kids and what they were doing. And, we loaded up our schedule with fun events and things to do. And that's not always what we found out last week when we were kind of talking about planning our family vacation this year about, with our 15-year-old, almost 16, and our 18-year-old, exactly what those big events meant to them when they were little, because we went on a cruise. We spent thousands of dollars. They don't remember it all.
Very, very little do they remember. Very little.
Yeah, we took them to a Lego event one time, and they don't remember that. We spent all this stuff to.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, to go and do all these things because we felt like we should.
And we wanted to micromanage it to the tiniest little detail to make sure exactly what they wanted. And the things that they remember and doing and having the most fun at was not something that we micromanaged the details of whatsoever. So,
going and seeing Thomas the Train. So just if you're a young if you got a young family, you got young kids, they want your time, not the event. You can take them to a doctor's appointment. They'll be happy with that. They just want to be part of your life. They
Yep.
really do. So don't stress over those things. I'm not saying don't do those things because they are memories for you as well. But
The details.
the details aren't going to matter
they're
when they're young because they don't care.
Yeah.
So just think back to your childhood. How much of those things do you remember? You get bits and
It
pieces.
was all the
of
time.
It, so.
It was about the time for sure.
Well, let's kind of roll into our this or that segment.
Okay.
Um, would you rather our calendar be full or would you like to have open events? Open evenings, I'm sorry.
Open evenings. Yeah.
I think there might have been a time where we wanted it to be full, but open evenings, just being able to spend time with you and the kids, watching traders or whatever the case may be, having dinner together. That's been a huge plus. Now with Joe getting his license soon, I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be more open in the evenings just for me and you.
Just for me and you. Yeah.
Helping everybody or protecting your energy.
I'm still on the helping everybody.
Yeah.
My love, the way I express love to everyone is to help. Like that's kind of who I am. So when I express love, it is usually what can I do for you? What do you need? And if someone's asking for it, I want to be on top of it, rallying everybody. Let's love on this person. Let's give them what they need. So I'm still helping.
Yeah, I'm a protecting my energy guy just because that time and energy you can't get back. And but I have you as a wife, and so
I feel like that balances us out. Right?
Yeah, it does balance us out. So we tend to do a little bit of both. So I think you're right.
You're good at holding like, hey, babe, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm good at like, hey, Travis person's really needing us. Like we need to really step up here when they can. And we usually will pull each other one way or the other. So.
Last minute plans or planning to have rest?
Planning to have rest?
Yeah.
We purposely do that.
Yeah.
We purposely are like, you see how this Saturday's empty?
That's going to stay
empty. Don't put nothing on that day and expect me to be there. I'm not doing it.
All right. But do you think we have to explain our no's or just saying no is good enough?
I still explain. Like I always try to like, hey, no, I'm so sorry. It's just not something I can do right now. That's about as the extent of it. Like sometimes I explain a little bit more in detail and kind of give a better in-depth situation depending on the person. But sometimes I just, hey, no, I can't. Yeah. Sorry.
I think I'm right down the middle. It just depends on the situation. So I feel like I need to explain it, but sometimes you just say no and let it be no.
Yeah.
You know. So busy weekends or slow weekends?
Slow. I don't know. We have busy weekends now. Yeah. They are usually thought out, methodical events. Does that make sense? So, like, a couple weekends ago, it was Kingston's archery tournament. Loved it. Had so much fun. We have a big event at church. Yeah. We know it's coming. We kind of plan accordingly. Yeah. Like, next one, we're not doing anything because we got so much happening, So, I think I'm kind of both. I don't know if I could pick one or the other because, they go with each other.
Yeah, I kind of think they go hand in hand. I love having busy weekends. We got a busy day today, but scheduling that rest behind it is
Can we talk about what we're doing today?
We sure can, but I think when we have consecutive busy weekends, or we've worked all week, we got a busy weekend, we got to work again. Having a planned slow weekend is definitely got to go hand in hand with the busy ones. So, yeah, go ahead. We can talk about one.
So, I of course, had stuff this morning, but this evening, it is Valentine's Day. It starts on Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And our friends Sam Crocker and Melissa Crocker, they have a murder mystery party every year.
Every year at Mardi Gras.
And so this theme, my favorite, I cannot say. So last year we were Western themed.
Yeah, it was fun.
And Travis dressed up like a cowboy, which was great. This year, 80s prom, and
80s prom.
I'm going to make Travis, because he's going to, edit this, he's going to have to put in a picture of us in our 80s prom.
Yeah.
This man has bought me a corsage.
Yeah.
And called the florist and was like, listen, 80s prom, I need it to be, it's bright. It's so great. It's so great. I can't wait. So I'm going to have him throw in a picture at the end of this episode so y'all can see. So if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you run over to YouTube and click, you can click the link on our Facebook page and it'll take you to the YouTube. You can watch it, or all of us just sitting here talking to each other. But when you get to the end, you'll see a picture of us in our 80s get up. So make sure you go to YouTube.
I'll probably put it in right in this area so you can see it while we're talking. So, yeah, we're ready to find out who's going to do murder tonight.
I know, so how this works, and just so anybody knows, I think it goes through like a company by package, and everybody gets you get to set who the characters are. I am Sarah Spirit, is that what it is? Sarah Social, something like Sarah Social. And I'm like the vice president of the class, of the class, and then I'm like I help do the prom and coordinate the prom and all this other stuff. So that's my character, which is kind of spot on. It's funny. Very high spirit, want everything to be perfect, and then you're what?
I'm the DJ. So we've got more people than roles. And so Sam gave me the role as the DJ, so I'm not going to be involved in the stuff going on. I'll be playing music and doing that stuff. So every prom needs a good DJ. Yeah. I'll be DJ Ronald Ragin tonight.
Oh, Ronald Ragin.
And working the ones and the twos, I guess.
Gotcha.
So I'm the old guy at the party, right? Because so I'll be technically supposed to be older than all the prom goers. So the fun part will be when everybody comes to talk to me about what's going on. I'll get to be like, I don't know these kids.
That's funny. That's so funny.
So
I'm also on top of that doing, because Travis got me a camera for Christmas, and I've got my tripod and everything. They've gotten a backdrop, so I'm also going to get to take the pictures for prom. So there actually might be some great prom pictures. We're going to have to make sure we do the 80s pose, guy behind the girl. Perfect. Yeah, it'll be great. Sure.
So we're going to have a really good time.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, so that kind of brings us to the end of this episode. I mean, really, we've. I think final thoughts for me are use no not as a weapon.
Yeah.
But as a protector for you and your relationship and your family. It's not wrong to say no to people. It's not a bad thing. It's good for you, and the people that love you don't care if you say no, and that's all that matters. Yeah. So,
I think mine would be like you and your partner should be talking about that stuff and what you should say no to and the reasoning behind no, if that makes sense. So, I don't like your family. We're not going there. That's not a good way to handle things.
Right.
Hey, you need a break. We need a break. We need time together. We need some peace and not run. Those are good conversations to have. Communication is one of the things we always say here. This is a way we communicate and talk about things and stuff. So communicating with your spouse, your significant other, about why you're saying no, why you want to say no. Honestly, I mean, really yesterday, I needed you to tell me to say no. I wanted to say no, but I had that whole, I don't want to. And he finally saying, baby, I really don't want you to. I really would like the day to get some stuff done and us do things, was what I needed to hear. Yeah. So sometimes it's just needing that other person.
Yeah, you need to be able to read your partner.
To be able to help you say no is really great. Really great.
Well, guys, we appreciate you listening and or watching on YouTube. This has been Life in the Middle. I'm Travis.
And I'm Jenna.
We appreciate y'all. Just like and subscribe if you can, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.